Shalom Akim. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect. And this lesson is basically to reveal a secret of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, the power of Israel. And that secret is that he's going to save the afflicted. He's going to save us. And even though we do these lessons many times, it's still a secret because to the world, all right, we're just niggas, spicks, tomahawks, all types of bad names. To the world, we're the scum of the earth. Nobody should even think to care about us. All right, but the power who rules this current power, all right, the Most High, the God of Israel, the power of Israel, all right, who actually rules over the so-called white man that's has a seat in the power in in the rulership of the earth. As is written, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right, and just as the earth is given into the hand of the wicked at this point in time, it will be given into the hand of the righteous, as is written of in Second Ezra 6 and I want to say 8. All right, but so many people don't believe it. Why? Because Yahweh Shem Yahushua has been not as you know openly active for quite some time now. Even though now we're in the last days, so it's more chariots and more earthquakes and famines and stuff like that. But it's still a secret to most because most people are not spiritually awoke. To see that the Lord is working, you have to be spiritually awoke. But there's going to come a time to where Yahweh Shai is going to he's going to make it plain. He's going to make it plain to where it's not going to be no more our words. All right. No particular actions that the Lord may show. All right. But it's actually going to be made plain. Men of the Lord are going to receive spiritual powers. And those that didn't believe, they're going to be in the root of awakening. All right. So this is Daniel chapter 3 and verse 1. It says, Nebuchadnezzar, the king, made an image of gold whose height was 60 cubits or 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura, in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather together the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up. Then the princes, the governors and captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then an herald cried aloud, To you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth the same shall be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. So throughout each captivity of ours, it will be a headbutting, so to speak, as far as us to serve, the power that's currently ruling the earth. How we serving their power by serving their God, or to staying faithful to ours, being servants to ours. And this is why it's important to know the history, to understand that the times we coming into where Esau's pushing that chip upon us, It's nothing new, to serve their idols, which is no God. All right. And the book of Bel and the Dragon, the Apocrypha, Daniel proves just that. And because he didn't serve their God, because he didn't bow down to their fake image, he was persecuted for that. So here it is. All right. Even as I was watching a brother Yahweh in the main camp. He was going into if the Lord wants him to be homeless, then so be it. And that's what it is, because we are servants of the Lord. We are servants of the Lord. And when you look up the word servant, it says personal or domestic attendance. From old French servant, foot soldier. All right. Noun use of servant, serving, waiting. Present particle of servere, to attend, wait upon. Going down, it says meaning professed lover. All right. Are not we a lover of Yahweh Shemi Hawashai? How do we profess it? We go out there in the highways and byways. All right. We, as the scriptures say in Romans 12:1. All right. And various precepts where it says to give your body as a living sacrifice. All right. One devoted to the service of a lady. What's that lady? Wisdom. Where does wisdom come from? How does wisdom play a particular a big part in this thing of ours? Because through wisdom we know how to serve the Lord. All right. Through wisdom, which is given to us through the Holy Word. All right. Through the Spirit, which is the understanding through the Spirit of Yahweh Shemi Hawashai. All right. We can know how to serve the Lord. All right. It says one devoted to the service. So I'm going to read it again. It says meaning professed lover. All right. We go out there and profess our love. All right. And hey, that would be the greatest way to profess it, is to even into death. All right. And we know most of our families are going to come up against us, as they do to this day, at this very day. All right. But our protest will be to not take that chip. All right. And you may be, you may see this video, or you may just think, well, I can profess my love to the Lord, just, talking to people day to day. All right. But the scriptures say, be thou patient unto death. All right. So again, we have to be servants, even unto death. All right. Because to talk about it is one thing, but when you actually go through it, that's a whole different can of worms. All right. So we have to be devoted to the service of a lady, devoted to the word. It says in North American colonies in the U.S., the usual destination for slave. All right. And most people, that's a touchy topic, man. All right. Talking about slavery, looking, you're a slave, man. You just do whatever is told to you. It's not, you don't really have a choice. Even if it takes you looking foolish, you got to do it because you're a slave. And most people don't see it that way, and which is why the Lord is not going to save them. All right. But it says, whoso falleth not down and worshipeth the same hour shall be cast in the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Therefore, at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations and the languages, fell down and worshipped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. They spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall sound the sound, that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, which that's actually not their real names, that's their slave names. Their real names, Misael, Ananias, and Azarias. You'll find that in the prayer of Azariah, also known as the Song of the Three Holy Children. It says, do not ye serve my power, nor worship the golden image which I have set up. Now if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. And who is that power that shall deliver you out of my hands? All right, so this dude had much pride, And again, how did he have so much pride? What gave him so much pride? Because the Lord, even though he was still there, it was as if he wasn't there, man. He was allowing this man to, win many battles. And, mind you, these guys, they took down the Assyrian Empire, man. The Babylonians took down the Assyrian Empire, man. A very strong and fortified empire, man. So they had, they pride was up on 100, man. So it says, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. I mean, that's an easy question. It's an easy answer right there. Hell no. That's basically what they said. If it be so, our power whom we serve is able to deliver us. If it be so, our power whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace. And that's what it is. All right. Our power is going to deliver us from whatever temptations we may have to face. All right. One of my favorite precepts is Sirach 4:28. It says, strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for thee. All right. So, hey, man, we got to strive to the truth even unto death. Even, when it's our lives is on the line. Even when our lives is on the line. All right, because we're not really dying anyway. We're just going up to the Heavenly Father, man. We're going to be at rest afterwards, man. Let me stay here, take this trip. All right, continue to catch hell, continue to pay bills, continue to work, because it's not like after you take the chip, Esau won't continue to, he's going to stop seeing you as a slave. Now he's going to treat you equally. Hell no, man. Now you got two issues. So it says, so like, what was I? And he commanded, let me see. Verse 17, if it be so, our power whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace. And he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy God, nor worship thy golden image, which thou hast set up. So even if the Lord won't deliver us out of this fire, even if it's appointed for us to, be put to death, guess what? That was at the Lord's hand. That was at the Lord's hand as well, man. When you read, the book of Psalms, King David, he spoke many Psalms about the death of Yahushua, going to show you that it was already orchestrated, all right, that he would be put to death. Nevertheless, he's now on the right-hand side of Yahweh. All right. So even if it is our lot to be put to death, all right, we will be on the right hand side of Yahweh Shai. All right. I think that's in Salakia. Let me see. Those in Philippians 2. Oh, Philippians 2 and 8. It says, and being found in fashion as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross. Wherefore, which that was the particular form of execution, you know, um, in the time of the Romans. All right. So as we read in the book of Daniel, that was a form of execution, you know, in the time of the Babylonians. Wherefore God also hath highly exalted him and gave him a name which is above every name, that at the name of Yahweh Shai every knee shall bow, of things in heaven and things in earth and things under earth. All right. So, and that every tongue should confess that Yahweh Shai is Lord, to the glory of the Father. All right. So same with us, as is written in Romans 8 and 17. And if children and heirs, heirs of God, and joint heirs with Hamashiach. All right. What is an heir? An heir is one who inherits or has right of inheritance in the property of another. Yahweh Shai has property. He has this planet, other planets, all the planets. He has the angels under him. All right. And if you have a planet, well, you have the people on that planet. All right. So Yahweh Shai inherited all that, in which if we suffer, we're going to have all of that as well. If so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified with him, that we may be also glorified together. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. So now we're going to go back to Daniel 3. And 6, verse 19. Then went Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, meaning just, he was pissed off. His face changed. You could see the rage in his face. Therefore, he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it wont to be heated. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. And these men were bound in coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound in the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, and rose up in haste, and spake and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast 3 men bound in the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt, and the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. All right? So the Lord is going to show up, man. You know, you doing this to us, you just making the Lord show up that much faster. He's going to show up to our deliverance, man, and to your astonishment. To our deliverance and to your astonishment. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High Power, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire, and the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was an hair of their head singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the power of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who have sent his angels, deliver his servants that trusted in him. All right. So Nebuchadnezzar himself, this man was at one time proud. All right. And you know, it must have been a sight to see if this proud king, even he had to give props where props, you know, as they say, give props where props is due. You know. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the power of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Going to show you how everybody had their own God they worshiped. But the power of Israel always saved. You know, he always came out at the top. Who have sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's words and yielded their bodies, that they might not serve nor worship any God except their own God. Therefore I make a decree that every people, nation, and language which speak anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other God that can deliver after this sort. Okay? So, mind you, there was many gods back then. There were many gods back then. All right? But out of all, he still gave homage to the one true power of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, which is the power of Israel. Yahweh, meaning he is, and Yahweh Shai, meaning he is the Savior, in the province of Babylon. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. All right, so this is First Maccabees chapter 4. I'll start at the top. Then took Gorgias 5,000 footmen and 1,000 of the best horsemen, and removed out of the camp by night. You know, because this devil Antiochus Epiphanes did everything he could to make Judas and his men bow down to his supposed new world order at the time, to where everybody should be one people, to the end he might rush in upon the camp of the Jews and smite them suddenly. And the men of the fortress were his guides. Now when Judas heard thereof, he himself removed, and the valiant men with him, that he might smite the king's army which was at Emmaus, which as yet the forces were dispersed from the camp. In the mean season came Gorgias by night unto the camp of Judas. And when he found no man there, he sought them in the mountains, for said he, These fellows flee from us. But as soon as it was day, you know, so at this point, Gorgias is like, you know, they must have just retreated, you know, give him more pride. But as soon as it was day, Judas shewed himself in the plain with 3,000 men, who nevertheless had neither armor nor swords to their mind. And they saw the camp of the heathen, that it was strong and well harnessed, and compassed round about with horsemen, and these were experts of war. Then said Judas to the men that were with him, Fear ye not their multitude, neither be ye afraid of their assault. Because Esau, he's going to come with a lot of men to subdue us, man. What should give us, like, you would think it would make us afraid, but really it should give you a power, man. Knowing that you're special. And Esau sees it, the devil himself sees it. Which that the devil with that at that time was Antiochus Epiphanes. All right, the devil in the time of Babylon was Nebuchadnezzar, and the devil at this time, would be these elites sitting there, henchmen to come and get us. Remember how our fathers were delivered in the Red Sea when Pharaoh pursued them with an army. Slaki, verse 8 again. Then said Judas to the men that were with him, Fear ye not their multitude, neither be ye afraid of their assault. Remember how our fathers were delivered in the Red Sea when Pharaoh pursued them with an army. So he had an army. He had well-harnessed horses, men of great stature. All right, but they were taken down. Hey, we didn't even have to put a hand on them. The Lord did the hard work. The Lord did the heavy lifting. He drowned their ass. Now therefore let us cry unto heaven, if peradventure the Lord will have mercy upon us, and remember the covenant of our fathers, and destroy this host before our face this day. Prayers is very important too. As a matter of fact, when you go into the prayer of Azariah, as I mentioned earlier, they actually prayed. That's what gave them the strength to withstand, the current situation of them being in the furnace. Verse 11, that so all the heathen may know that there is one who delivereth and saveth Israel. All right, they knew in the time of Babylon, but apparently they forgot. In the time of the Greeks. Then the strangers lifted up their eyes and saw them coming over against them. Wherefore they went out of the camp to battle, but they that were with Judas sounded their trumpets, so they joined battle, and the heathen, being discomfited, fled into the plain. Howbeit all the hindmost of them were slain with the sword, for they pursued them unto Gezerah, and unto the plains of Idumea and Azotus and Jamnia, so that there were slain of them upon 3,000 men. This done, Judas returned again with his host from pursuing them. Oh no, that was the point. You see? So prayer and serving the Lord, no matter how the situation looks, leads to salvation, man. Leads to salvation. All right? The strength of the Lord is with us, man. With his servants. Let me add that. The strength of the Lord is with his servants. I was going to read Psalms 106. But the point was pretty much, the point was proven. The power of Israel, he will save. The power of Israel, he will save. He will save his servants. He will save the afflicted. So with that, shalom to the elect.